Hello, welcome back to the Purpose Playbook. We've been off for a few weeks. Rich's fault. He was busy. Really excited today. Got an excellent story. Today we introduce Dwanye Jack. Welcome. So Dwayne, I know Dwayne. I've met Dwayne a couple of years ago. Dwayne.
Yeah.
We did some work together. He came in and did some training with my staff. Dwayne is a mastermind mentor, motivational speaker, and an educator in human potential. So, really interesting story, and I'm really excited for you to hear it. So, let's go back to the beginning, Dwayne. Let's go back to Dwayne as a young boy. And you tell me a little bit about yourself and your life growing up.
Yeah. So, I grew up, mum, dad at the beginning, little sister, brother, older brother. And everything was kind of all right, arguing and stuff within the household. Dad left, new wife, new life. And my mum was drinking heavily. And she used to air her anger out on me, not consciously, but it just hurt people closest to you. So that was going on. She got a new boyfriend. He was selling drugs, domestic violence within the house, and then police started raiding the house. Before my dad left, there wasn't any kind of criminal activities because he was a worker, football, etc. So when she got the new boyfriend, that's when obviously police were raiding the house, criminal activities, and then we was kids seeing all this stuff going on. And I remember one time, because my mum picked us up from school, it's only primary school, must have been 4 or 5 years old, 6, and we're in the bus, and they said duck down as we was going past our house. And I thought, well, why do we got to duck down? But she was hiding from her boyfriend as we went to a refuge for obviously women that's obviously going through domestic violence. So we went to a refuge. However, she got back with him and then moved from a nice little estate with a garage on the side, 3-bedroom house, beautiful house. It's even beautiful now, 20 whatever years, 15, 30 years later. Still beautiful now. She moved out of that into the Britwell estate in Slough, and then that's when kind of the fun started.
So you tell me about the ages you are. So you mentioned 4 or 5 there. So how long did that sort of stuff continue? You moved to the Britwell estate. What sort of age were you then?
So then from the Britwell estate, that's when I started getting in with the boys there. There was more. That's when my mum's house become a den. Not a den like Class A drugs, but where people will go to get puff, to get green, cannabis for those that don't know what that is, and pills. And it was the rave scene. So I'm there playing Sega Mega Drive, whatever, it's Super Nintendo, pretending that I'm playing, but I'm listening to a lot of adult material, listening as he's sitting on the table with his pals at the table, and they'll be smoking, talking, and there'll be money and scales and all that stuff around. So it become normality. Mum and him arguing, fighting, whatever. Then he left. Then my mum was out. My mum was a grafter. She'd go out and she would do credit card fraud. They called it bud and cheese at the time. So I'd come down as a kid and I'd see a credit card in ink remover and like checkbooks. So then that's how we survived. She'd go out to do shopping or whatever it was with this. But then she must have got arrested a few times, because then she took me and my siblings to court. We were in the waiting room, Slough Magistrates. And I remember, because I'm thinking, where's mum? The next minute, no, she's not even coming out. Then the ushers said, we've gone into the courtroom, took me in the courtroom, and the judge has obviously ordered her to be brought back up because they've sent her to prison. But we were in the waiting room. And when I remember the dock door opening up and her come to say goodbye. The judge must have said, bring her back up to say goodbye to the kids. And then obviously social services come in the care of the local authority. I think my sister went to go and live with my dad for a bit. She got out a couple of weeks later. I went back. So I had a choice to stay with my old man and his wife and stuff like that, but I went back to my mum on the estate. So that's when because I was able to do what I kind of wanted. And that's when my criminal activities and on the street antisocial behaviours, that a certain age, young age, drinking, smoking cannabis at like 9, 10, 11 years old, and stealing bikes at first, thefts, petty thefts, and then it led into obviously burglaries. But I was being groomed at the time. I didn't know at the time because the older boys were taking obviously advantage of me. So
let's just go back a second. So you're a young boy, growing up around criminal activity. That's your life at that point. You then said you went into care. So tell me what care looked like for you.
Yeah, so my mum would call social services and say, take the little, because I was the problem.
Yeah.
I'll be smashing the windows.
So the criminal activity started.
Yeah.
And then you got put into care.
Nah, before the criminal activities, it was behavioural problems at home.
Right.
I'll be smashing things, smashing the windows, A, B and C, because I never had birthday parties, but then my little sister's having birthday parties and stuff like that. So I'm chucking bricks at the patio windows when they're having their bloody party and all the kids and the mums are there. I'm in the back garden chucking bricks at the patio windows. Yeah. So I was a problem, smashing my mum's windows, A, B and C. And then I'll go into foster care, then I'll go, I don't know where it is, and I'll go into a foster care family, feel really out of place, really rejected. Now I'm thinking
Same as
back
you
now.
felt at home, right?
Yeah.
So you feel that at home.
Yeah.
Siblings are having birthday
neglected,
parties.
Rejected.
Then you go into foster care and you're feeling the same.
Yeah, not belonging, being there, and obviously the Caucasian as well, the family, and I'm there, and obviously feeling out of space, out of place. But then I was there for however long, don't know if it was months or something. Then went back, still misbehaving, children's home. And then from the children's homes, I was just becoming a problem. And then my mum, they would put me in children's homes on the estate still. So I would still have this another spot because I'd still be doing what I want, even if I was in the children's home. I'd still be on the estate and going out robbing, stealing, etc. with the older boys.
And you've got the grooming going on, right?
Yeah, because they're dropping me off. They say, no, you're going back because you'll make us hot because police will be looking for us. So them try and take me back to the children's home, drop me off. I'll go in there. But then I'll go up, I'll put the sock on the smoke alarm, and the next minute I'll be like, I'm off again. And then I'll go back on and say, what are you doing? Go back. But it was, so revolving door.
So from that, in the children's home, what then happens from 13 upwards? I remember a story you told me about having to get a bus on your own, fend for yourself, ultimately. What did that look like from there upwards?
I think from 12, 13, that's when I started obviously making money. I was like an adult. I was more advanced because I was 13 and I was going around with 23-year-olds knocking at my door. So I was making money. I was seeing how they made money, how they moved. So I was monkey see, monkey do. So I literally... By the time I was 13, I was in the West End of London selling crack and heroin. I was driving cars, riding motorbikes. And then I got arrested for dangerous driving, failing to stop at the age of 13. And that's when I think the magistrate said, that's enough now. He's a risk to the public. Obviously, if dry school time or whatever it is. And then I got an 8-month DTO, detention and training order, secure unit for children at 13. They got me in a riot van, took me to Slough Magistrate, the same court with my mum where she got sentenced. Took police officer by the door, police officer standing by me, and that's when I got my 8-month secure unit. Went Vinnie Green, Bristol, and I was just a problem there, fighting all the boys from Manchester, from Bristol. And then they sent me to Medway, Kent. That was Group 4 officers, a little bit different now because they were officers. They weren't like care staff.
Right.
So I was causing riots there as well. Literally running across the green. There's loads of staff causing riots. I was a problem. I was in education. They wouldn't let me go to the toilet. I pissed in the corner. I kicked the panels out of the classroom. They put me on a unit that was being refurbished, with this big steadhead. His name was Teapot. They put me on the unit with him. So it was like a block isolation. They probably weren't not allowed to do that. Yeah. But that was so long ago because I was literally a problem. Yeah. A total problem. And then back out on 14, I got out. Hello, Mum. All right, see ya. I'm off again. Back on the estate with the older boys that 10 years older than me, waking them up. That same day, I remember, they're going to get cigarettes, bags of cigarettes where they've done smash and grabs the night before. I've only been out about a few hours. I'm with them now. Grab the bag of the cigarettes. They've gone and sold them, and then we're smoking drugs and doing craziness. So that's at 14.
That life, right?
Yeah, that was at 14.
You couldn't come out, and you didn't want to. There was no change. You came back, started doing the same. Tell me what grooming looked like.
For me at the time, it was belonging. It was acceptance. So it wasn't like as it is now. It's obviously
comes part of family, right?
Yeah.
So you're feeling neglected at home. You're feeling neglected in your children's home.
That's right.
And then you've got your family. You don't realise that it's not good stuff that's happening.
Yeah.
But they are part of your family, right?
Yeah.
So you get close to them and they become your people, right?
Yeah, exactly that. And I think because my mum was in that world as well, it wasn't alien to rob still, because we would even go out and rob handbags and stuff like that, and then with the older boys, and then go and sell them to my mum. But I pretend that I'm just going in to get something to eat, making a sandwich, but I'm listening to how much they're getting per page. So they weren't pulling a thing. So it wasn't alienated that they were grooming me at the time. It was just their friends, and even my mum's friend's son that was older. I looked up to him because he had all the designer clothes, and I said, "Let me come." So it was part of the culture, and I think it still is today. Even though within the industries and we've evolved as people, I believe still within that world, it's still just accepted. It's just life. It's just work. Whether you rob, you sell drugs, that's just how it is. It's desensitized. You don't. It's their real world, isn't it? When you're in it,
it's their everyday.
You know other. You don't know other.
And here's a bit of an interesting question. So, just for anyone that listening, how hard was it to get out? So we'll obviously go into when you were a bit older, and the sort of the life you went through and where you ended up. Yeah. How did you end up getting out? Because you've got that family. Yeah. You've got the people that are doing things at that age.
Oh, how did I get out?
Older.
Yeah.
So, were you ended up grooming younger people on the estate?
That's one thing I never done. I always, because I got past the crack pipe when I was 13, and I knew what it done to me. So I always looked out for the vulnerable people, and even up to today, and even along my journey through prisons and my circuit, I've always looked after vulnerable people.
Which is why you are where you are today, right? So let's go into adulthood, right? So insecure units at 13. Yeah, I'd imagine there was a few more on the way up. Yeah, adulthood, prison.
Yeah, Feltham 15.
Feltham at 15.
Yeah, Feltham 15, and one thing I remember with Feltham, because when the door closed, I thought, wow, this is a bit of porridge. Because it weren't like secure units, and it was just door closed, no TV like now, holiday camp. It was the door closed. But I remember, because the next day there was a poem on the wall, and it said, "If you smoke crack, you'll be back. If you think I'm joking, keep on smoking." I must have thought they were joking, because I carried on smoking for 17 years.
You don't take it in at 15.
No, you don't.
You read it and you think,
I read it.
That is interesting. Yeah. But, like, it's forgotten as soon as you walk out those
exactly
doors.
That. But it was that for 17 years I was in and out of prison, 10 years consecutive. It became normal to eat with a plastic knife and fork. It was the norm. Prison wasn't a deterrent for me because it was my safe haven. My needs were being met. Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Belonging, safety, security. Not that safety like that, but I was safe in there because I looked after myself and I was one of the lads. And all my needs, I had gym, I got healthy, so it was away from the drugs when I did have periods, and even if I was still healthy, I was eating, and I weren't out doing crazy stuff. So prison...
Weren't overeating either?
Nah, because I'd burn it in the gym. But it was like prison was my safe haven, even though I was institutionalized after a while, because from 13 to 29 years old, I was in and out, being stabbed, shot, chopped in the head with a machete, told that I'd never walk again. My old dear went to the hospital and the surgeon said, "We don't know if he's going to make it because he's got a fractured skull bleeding to the brain and he could be paralysed to the neck down." But through the grace of God, obviously I'm here today to tell the story and give him the glory. However, I still never stopped. I'm in the hospital bed and I'm pulling myself out to go. They've got no visitors, but I want to go outside to smoke a fag, and I'm pulling myself and holding on to things and getting down. But I got a strong spirit within me. So my body just, like epigenetics, do you understand? If you've got a good mindset.
Yeah.
So eventually I got back on my feet, but then I discharged myself from the hospital, out doing criminal activities again.
So just on
crazy.
That, I mean, you said so much in that sentence. Shot, stabbed. What's the comeback for that, right? You end up start walking again.
Yeah.
Go back out into criminal activity, into that world that you're used to from the age of 13, that becomes normal life.
Yeah. What's
the reaction to that?
Reaction within,
there's anger, right? Someone shot you, someone stabbed you. What's the...
No, I started just getting more and more, not liking, realising that the world that I was in wasn't even real. The people that are around that I thought were my friends weren't even my friends. And half of the stuff from the scars were people that I had sleepovers with, and my mum would borrow milk off him or her mum, and we were like family. And I had the realization that that world is an illusion, and it's dog eat dog in them places, and it still is today. You set your own people up, and that's what was the realization. So I just completely just went ruthless even more and more, until obviously it was either I was killed or I killed someone else and doing life myself. Yeah. One of the two. So it was very close.
So I mean, I know from growing up in care, attachment, trust, right? So hard. So that at that point, when you come out and realise that everything's a bit of a lie, right? Your friends, your people you've been with, you can't trust them. You can't. They haven't got your back. They're out for themselves. Yeah. That's hard when you've had attachment issues, right? Because you essentially are cutting off a lot of people in your life. Yeah. At what point did you realise this is it now? I need to sort myself out. What age were you, one? And what got you to that realisation? Because poems on the wall weren't doing it.
No. When I was 15, no, of course not. I was 27 years old. Yeah. I'd been on a mad one. I was in a hotel. My missus wouldn't come near me. No one would come and have a session with me or nothing, because I was that much of a liability. I was in a hotel, loads of cocaine, prostitutes. And then I woke up in the morning and I was just sobbing like a baby. But I weren't a baby. I was 27 years old, but I was a baby, sobbing like a little child for his mum to give him a hug. And I was crying, sobbing like that. And I just wanted to escape. And my only thing that I knew safe haven was prison. So I went out, not consciously, but subconsciously, just went on a ruthless one and got locked up. But this time was different, because when I got locked up, I burnt every single bridge. I'd become scummy. Some of the stuff that I was doing because I was taking drugs. Yeah, proper the scummy. And no one would come near me. And I just was stripped to the core of, I just surrendered. Tapped out, just like the wrestlers. The wrestlers got him. He tapped out. He lets go.
And that's to go back inside, right?
Yeah.
So at that point at 27,
I'm inside.
You are inside.
Yeah, I'm inside. I'm in the prison. I'm in the prison now. I went out from that bender, got locked up, and now I'm in the prison. And I've just surrendered. I tapped out to that person that I had become. No one liked me. I become a monster. I didn't like myself, and the pain, it was like the ego cracked, and I tapped into my true, authentic self. I had like a spiritual awakening in my cell.
Was there anyone who was able to help you get there?
No.
Was there people inside who helped you, or was it just a realisation in yourself that you wanted to change? You'd been dealt a bit of a bad hand, right?
Yeah.
So was that the point you realised that you want to come and help? You said, I've always cared about the younger ones and what's going on and the vulnerability. Yeah. That point you went, I want to go and help people.
No, it was this point where I had that spiritual awakening. It's like my ego cracked. That person that I'd become through my childhood trauma, through my environment, thinking that you got to be gangster, you got to walk like this, talk like this, and all this stuff. And then I actually started being myself. and not caring about anyone. And if anyone reminded me of who I was, I'd say, come away from me, because I wanted to be who I am. So I'm walking around the prison. Anyone starts talking about crime, I say, come away from me, bruv. Yeah. Anyone's talking nonsense around me, I say, move. So I'll be with my water. People saying, oh, he's gone off his rocker, he's mad. But not to my face, obviously. But yeah, that's join the queue. But then I started changing step by step, and then I started helping people in the prison. And then I started having certain experiences, and then I'm changing people's lives in the prison as well. And then my still small voice said to me, create a program for you before the trauma, before the madness. So I listened to the still small voice, and I wrote down on a book, like communication. I probably put 1 M in communication because I couldn't spell, because I never went to school. However, I wrote it down on paper, and then I just started putting one foot in front of the other. Stopped gambling, stop smoking, stop swearing. Obviously I swear a little bit now. But however, I started just making these changes, connecting to myself, that still small voice, and listening and realizing I'm getting somewhere now. I only started smiling when I was 27 years old.
And that you know, that's what I took from what you were saying there, right? You've probably never actually been yourself until you were 27, right? So it's like
exactly
you're coming out. You talk a lot about God. Like faith. And has that played a big part in
100%
where you are now?
Yeah, it was the foundation, because throughout my journey I was searching, like family was Christian, etc. And then I'll go to church. I had certain spiritual experiences with the Bible in my cell, but then I'll go back to the same estate. So the light would just go out after a while. But then eventually, and then I'll go to prison again. I think this Jesus stuff's not happening. The Bible's not. Let me go to the mosque and Bismillah, and tried all this. And I think, nah, that's not working for me. And then I'll go to the self-help section in the library, because I was hungry for change. I was hurting. My spirit soul wanted it. And then eventually in 2012, I was in my cell and I prayed out. And when I prayed out, I went asleep and I was vibrating from head to toe. The only feeling that I can explain is pure ecstasy and MDMA, because I've took every drug under the sun, but I'm in a cell sober. I was vibrating from head to toe. The only feeling that I can explain is ecstasy. But I'm in there and it's like I was vibrating through the pure light. And then that's when the transition started changing. The next day, I think I was watching EastEnders or whatever it was, Hollyoaks, and I'm thinking, what is this nonsense I'm watching? So I unplug the TV, I put it by the door, I give it to the officers. So now I'm just meditating, reading my books, and just going on a higher frequency. And that's when I started having supernatural like experiences and stuff like that, within what led me to later on down before I got out of jail.
My wife will be fuming. You said EastEnders is nonsense. By the way.
Okay, so no. Different strokes for different folks. So with my mum and my sister, they said you're mad. Get out of here. So
Hollyoaks you're okay with, but EastEnders isn't the one. Tell me where you are now. So, like, incredible story. We could talk about it all day, because it interests me how far you've come. Right. Tell me where you're at now. What you're doing now. How you're trying to help other people. You're doing an incredible job. I know you are. Tell me how all that developed coming out.
Yeah, so I got out, approved premises, signed on every 3 hour. I got a job at an agency, labouring, doing my meditation over lunch, because I didn't want to work for an agency. I met Dave. Dave met me with Neil. He was doing a job down back in Marlow, Mel B's old place, doing a roof on the nanny's house within the grounds. Went there. The banker employed me straight from there. Then I'm gardening for him. He took the gardener off the garden and put me. So now I'm watering the plants. I was there for 2 years. He's one of my board of directors now on some of the companies that we got, and I was there for 2 years. He said, can you pick the daisies? You know, the ones you make a wish? Yeah. He said, can you pick them out of his grounds? Yeah. And
I don't know what they're called. What are they called, Gemma?
Dandelions. Yeah, because they're yellow and then they go, yeah. He had me picking them, yeah, but I was like, yes, boss, because I'm 29 years old. I used to make fast cash, but at this time here, I was so humble with life. The sun was shining. I was free. My car's there. I'm going home to my missus. I was like, yeah, whether I'm digging or picking them. It just went over my head. It didn't think, like, what, you're mugging me off. I ain't doing that. It went over my head, but it wasn't even him. It was life humbling me to what was ahead. So anyway, long story short, I was there for 2 years, paying taxes, doing all that good stuff, and I became a human being knowing how to work. And then from there I thought I got to get out of it because I'm not a yes man anymore, Jason. I'm a boss man. So I leaped and then followed the plan with the courses, got into a children's home, senior position whilst I was still on prison license. Yeah, because I'm tapping into my greatness now, no limitations. I weren't listening to anyone ifs and buts. I will cut them out and delete it. I was just on a mission. Got in there, senior position, keys in my hand. I'm in the office. All the kids are in bed. I'm the only staff member there. How'd you do that? Dwayne Jack, mastermind mentor, motivational speaker, mastermind manifester. From there, I thought I got to get into the jails. Went to the secure unit, Vinnie Green. As I was driving back from Vinnie Green, me and my missus went in. There was a road. It said Feltham. I said, look, stop the car, look. The road was called Feltham. Got into Feltham Young Offenders, working for Kinetic Youth. But I never went in there to do youth work. I went in there to do military work. So when I went in there, I'd done my little networking with the governors and stuff. And then I said to Lucy from Education, I'm going to have my notice in now. She goes, no, Dwayne, don't. You got nothing there. I said, Lucy, I live by faith, not by sight. Being sure of what I hope for and certain what I do not see yet. Handed my notice in. 3 days later, gone in the gym because all the governors go in the gym over lunch. Glenn Knight's there, the number one governor. Like an eagle. Oh yeah, Glenn, how you doing, mate? He said, yeah, come and do a presentation. Went and done a presentation, shook my hand on the contract, and then I built a team in there. I was in there for 4 years, built a team, built a curriculum. OCN London, we're our own centre now, and that was like the beginning of our work. And he even looked up and down after he shook my hand on the contract. He looked up and down. He said, do you fancy doing a session in the gym? I said, yeah, why not? So then that was that. But then the door closed to Feltham. So we've done 4 years there. Then we come into the community to prevention rather than cure. So we come in the community and now we support our local authorities with social services, exploitation hub, and just we're like the bridge for local authorities. So to support them vulnerable families or families that are hard to reach or disengaged, we're able to engage them because of the rapport we're able to build because of our experience. So we're just a bridge and movers, shakers within our local authorities to just support these vulnerable young people and families. And then we've got some children's homes.
Give me a story about someone who you've helped from start to finish, and that like a real difference. Like, when was the first time you looked at something and thought, oh, wow, like he could have been where I was, but I've changed that direction?
I don't think no one have been where I was. But I'll give you an example. Been, right? Yeah, so, I'll give you an example. Not so much a kid. He was someone that I grew up with. Or do you want a kid?
No, that's fine.
Yeah, someone that I grew up with. He was a bit older, 2 years older than me, right? And I tried to go back and help him multiple times because obviously I was in a new world. And I'd go back and he just weren't ready. And then I'd go to visit him in a prison. And I said, are you ready yet? Here's life, here's death. He'd choose death every time. A few years more, 5 years, 6 years down the line, I got a letter through. Poor me letter. Oh, I ain't even got a fiver canteen, victim and all that stuff. So I thought maybe mum's died. Maybe this is the time. Went to visit him. I've gone to go in there, Woodhill, picked some canteen, gone to sit down, and he's come out with something nonsense. And I've got up to go. He goes, where are you going? I said, D, I'm gone, mate. I said, I'm a businessman now. When you're ready to change, give me a call. I've done an hour here, hour back, and then the visit. That's half a day, mate. And you're coming out with nonsense like this. Give me a call when you're ready to change. I've gone to walk off. He's gone, D, where you going, man? I said, bruv, I'm off, mate. I said, when you're ready to change, give me a call. He's gone, 1 minute. I've gone, sat back down. He's gone, what do I need to do? I said, A to Z. He followed that A to Z, yeah? He was in and out of jail from 15 to whatever, 30 odd, 35, or nearly coming up to 40. He was in and out of jail from Feltham, all that. A problem to society, problem. And he followed the protocol. I think he's on his 4th year. He's never ever broken his statistics, and now he's got his little family. He's living nice. Amazing. That's just one example, yeah.
So good, mate.
Yeah.
So what's next in your journey? Where do you want to get to?
Yeah, so we've got our children's homes now. Once they're fired up, obviously that's a big venture with our homes. So have that company fired up, working, and then our alternative education, which we're just looking for some buildings, and then the mentors, local authorities, just making an impact. And then obviously once they are operating on their own, and then obviously my infrastructures of my team are taking over, I'll be a global speaker and then mastermind mentor for selective clients, and then just speaking. And then obviously the infrastructures of the I Am, the Road to Enlightenment, that course to just be put out to just change lives over the globe, whether it's online, A, B, and C, but Dwanye Jack, the brand, to just be that mover and shaker in personal development.
Yeah, nice, mate. Love that. Tell me a bit about your missus, because I've done a bit of work with you.
I missed my missus out, didn't I?
I don't want to go and I don't want to go in at you after for not bringing her up. But
how did I forget?
I know from speaking to her what a big part of your life she is, and how much you both are a team in this and helping each other. So tell us what impact she's had on you and your life.
She'll have to come and do her story on here. I'll get her to. Because then it'll make a bit of sense for your viewers. Yeah. So similar kind of background. I won't go too into it, but as a female, growing up through families, dysfunctional families, etc., she ended up being vulnerable at a very young age, and it's a similar kind of story, but never went to prison. But someone that was in her circles went into prison. But if I never pulled her out of that world, it would have been her. I called her up on a visit 2012 when I had my transformation, and I said to her, look, you can't be doing what you're doing. If you want to be with me, you got to give it up. She sacrificed it, and it paid off, because obviously now she's my business partner. She was a rock for me, because I wanted my mother's love so desperately that I never got it, and still even today it's not there. But I've accepted that she never got love, and you come to an understanding and acceptance later on with the psychology behind things, and it's healthy, and it brings it's healthy, because you know how things work and you don't take things personal. However, she's like been that my mum, my partner, friend, business partner, everything, and the same that what I've been for her, because she was lacking that positive male for dad, and that protection and that security. So we've kind of filled each other's needs, and if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here, as well as obviously the big man upstairs. I wouldn't be here, and it's a contributing factor for her as well, because I pulled her out of that world that she would have still been in, because she didn't know about the spiritual stuff and the big man upstairs and stuff like that. So Mel was a big cornerstone to my journey.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I saw a quote the other day of saying, pick someone, you've got a house full of bricks with gaps, pick someone that fills those gaps, right? And it looks like you've both done that for each other. What would be your advice for your younger self, Dwayne?
Advice for my younger self would be, focus on you. The power's in you. Focus on you. Invest in you. Learn about you, about your brain, about your heart, about your spirit, what triggers you. Focus on you, meditate and connect to your inner self, and just write your dream down, and every day just put one foot in front of the other. That's it. Because the power's within us, all the resources, everything. And that's what I realized. I was searching to fulfill that gap, and all along I was searching in all the wrong places. It was inside
searching
me.
Externally, actually internally.
It's internally. Yeah. I was just driving here, listening to a song, and the song is obviously it's a lover's song, but I was thinking that's how much I love myself. I was singing it just about like myself, and that's a good place to be in for humanity, because we need to focus on us. Because once you love yourself, respect yourself, you're able to pour that onto your loved ones and society and communities.
And what would be the advice you would give to someone in your situation? So obviously you're saying internally for yourself, but what would be the advice you'd give to someone in your situation on how to get out? Yeah,
how to get out is cut off any negative people to remind you of who you were, whether that's drugs, criminal activities, trauma. cut them off, or if it's family, love them from a distance, focus on you, minimize the risk of being reminded of who you were. And sometimes you got to take yourself out of the environment so that you got the fertilizer to grow. Then you can go back and help, or then pop in A, B and C, but take yourself out that environment, get the fertilizer to grow, focus on you, get structure, routine and purpose, and put one foot in front of the other, and you'll be good.
Love that. So on the podcast, we obviously we give £500. We've been really lucky today. EMFS Group, Steve Whiteside has given £500 to the whoever you want it to go to, a charity, an individual. Who have you chosen to give it to?
It's a charity that my sister currently works as. It used to be called Rape Crisis, but I don't know the name off by heart because it's a new name. I did send it to you.
It is Rape and Sexual Abuse Support Service for South Buckinghamshire.
Yeah.
So that's who it's going to go to.
Yeah.
So thank you, Steve, for the donation of £500, and that will be going to them. Mate, pleasure. What a story. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep helping change lives. You know, from where you are to where you are now, mate, you're an inspiration. You talk so well. Every time I've met you, it's been a pleasure, and keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you.
Lovely to see you.
Thank you so much. Great.
Rich will be joining us in a second to talk through the episode. What an incredible man. We will put all the links to Dwayne's stuff that he's doing in the bio of this. From one great man to another, Rich joins us today. Any danger you putting your phone on silent?
I just knew that was going to come up straight away.
Mate, I'm not being funny. Externally, the amount of times you've caused the podcast problems, Dwayne was like... Dwayne was like... Dwayne had
problems?
Well, you're running out the last one. Your phone's on loud on that one after telling Dwayne to put his phone on silent.
The people watching and listening to this would not know that was happening. The only reason they know is because you're telling them.
It's happened.
Mate, my phone's
Proper put me off my flow.
No, he didn't even know about it. Also, I think you introduced me as a great man, didn't you?
Yeah, you are a great man.
Thank you.
You're looking good as well.
Thanks, mate.
What a mental story.
Mate, crack at 13.
I know.
I wrote that down. Crack at 13. Mad. I think that guy has the most infectious personality. I wrote here, he's got such a strong spirit and like work ethic, but he just had the wrong nurturing. He was like in the wrong environment. So it just goes to show like how unlucky some young people are, because he's clearly got that type of mindset that means he's going to do positive, great things. But it took him 27 years to find the environment. Yeah, I mean, to get there.
Gemma just said she's 27 now.
Yeah.
So that he was that age when he
basically worked out who he was and what he liked and smiled.
I think the interesting thing for me was right at the end when he was saying, when he was giving advice to people, and he was talking about the people he was externally looking for help for himself were the wrong people. So you become a product of who you're around, right? So
I also you'll go back and watch this or listen to it again. You might have noticed it at the time when he was talking about the past, quite chilled, quite like low tempo, quite like even like softly spoken. The minute he spoke about what he's doing now and where he's going, like bubbled up, like the energy was like almost like a different person. So you can tell that he's just got that energy now about him, and he's going to take that really far. Yeah,
really. Like I've met him a few times. He's done some training with our staff, and you know he really helped them realise like some of the young people that come through. Like you've got no idea.
No.
What's really nice is that he can talk about it openly, and give his message to other people. I think it's really important. And at the end there, the reason I brought his missus into it because I know what a strong partnership they are.
Yeah.
And
let's get her on.
100%.
Do you know what I was sat there thinking? He's saying all these things that he's done as a kid or grown up. I didn't believe him. As in, like, I know he did it, but like I'm looking at him thinking, this guy's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's got such a positive energy and aura about him. I can't see him. I can't see it.
I think that would be one of the things. Like anyone watching him who knew him growing up would look and think,
who is this guy?
That's not the guy that was that was in the estate 15 years ago, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it just goes to show we've all got something in us, but that environment is, you know, who you surround yourself with is key.
Yeah, I think also like a big message I took from that is loving yourself.
Yeah.
Like what he said at the end was like resonates with me massively.
Of course
like,
it does.
Like,
you do love yourself.
I do. I do, but it's taken a lot of work. But yeah, it's about people just finding their inner self before they can do anything externally and go and there's a lot of good people in the world, right? Which is why we're doing this.
Yeah.
Find yourself and go and do it.
Side note, I think I need to start meditating.
He said,
Why? What's God about that?
Just can't imagine it.
I think
I know I've not got the brain for it.
I think you need to start meditating as well.
I've tried it once.
I mean,
I couldn't find the zone. I was just looking around thinking about it. But anyway, that's my active brain. But whenever I see someone that's got a real vibe about them or is in a real positive place, they're always meditating.
yeah.
Should we start?
Yeah. I'm not against it. I just don't know whether I could do it. I can't.
Yeah, but I mean, he
Find
would
it struggle
have
to
said that
relax.
when he was 13 smoking crack, but here he is.
Yeah.
Mastering it.
Yes.
I don't know. It's worth a look.
It's fair. Yeah.
Sorry, we digress.
No, you're right. Right, well.
Killed that, didn't I?
So, that was episode 7. We move on to episode 8. Thank you, Dwayne, for coming in. Gemma will put all the links to Dwayne's businesses below. And yeah, thanks, Rich, for joining us. And cheers for leaving your phone on loud. See you next episode.
Cheers.